Secretary of State Rex Tillerson defended the U.S. foreign policy record in 2017, touting progress to rein in a bellicose North Korea, battling ISIS and countering immense challenges posed by Russia, China and Iran. In an opinion piece in the New York Times, the top diplomat said about 90% of Pyongyang's export earnings had been cut off by sanctions after the Trump administration abandoned the failed policy of strategic patience. In its place, we carried out a policy of pressure through diplomatic and economic sanctions. This year, the United Nations Security Council unanimously adopted 3 of the strongest sanctions resolutions in history, he wrote. Tensions have skyrocketed on the Korean peninsula after the nuclear-armed rogue regime staged a series of missile tests as President Trump and North Korean despot Kim Jong-un traded personal insults. Washington, which wants the Hermit Kingdom to abandon its nuclear program, has spearheaded 3 rounds of UN sanctions against the cash-starved country, restricting exports of coal, iron, seafood, and textiles. Our peaceful pressure campaign has cut off roughly 90% of North Korea's export revenue, much of which is used to fund illegal weapons development, he wrote. We hope that this international isolation will pressure the regime into serious negotiations on the abandonment of its nuclear and ballistic missile programs, he continued. A door to dialogue remains open for Pyongyang, he said, but warned that until denuclearization occurs, the pressure will continue. At the same time, he called on China, Pyongyang's only major ally, to do more to pressure North Korea. Tillerson also sang the praises of the administration's aggressive strategy to counter the Islamic State as well as other terror-linked groups. As a result, the global coalition to defeat ISIS has accelerated operations and has recaptured virtually all of previously held Islamic State territory in Iraq and Syria, he wrote. The Trump's administration has been roiled by allegations that his campaign team colluded with Russia to help him win the presidency. Tillerson said the administration had no illusions about the regime we are dealing with and that it remains on guard against Russian aggression. At the same time, he said, we recognize the need to work with Russia where mutual interests intersect, citing Syria, in particular. Now that President Vladimir Putin has committed to the United Nations-backed Geneva political process for providing a new future for Syria, we expect Russia to follow through, he wrote. We are confident that the fulfillment of these talks will produce a Syria that is free of Bashar al-Assad and his family. He also reaffirmed the U.S. commitment to restore Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Absent a peaceful resolution of the Ukraine situation, which must begin with Russia's adherence to the Minsk agreements, there cannot be business as usual with Russia, he wrote. Regarding Iran, meanwhile, Tillerson warned, the flawed nuclear deal is no longer the focal point of our policy toward Iran. We are now confronting the totality of Iranian threats.